Okay, welcome back. We're ready to start Unit 5. Unit 5 talks primarily about percents and how we use percents in the health professions. Just so you are aware, we're going to start with a little review on converting decimals and fractions to percents. So let's take a look. First of all, how do we convert a fraction to a decimal? If I have a fraction like 3/8, all you have to remember is that that's really just a division problem. So I'll go 3 divided by 8. I'll have to add some zeros. And how many times does 8 go into 30? First, let me put my decimal point here so I don't get confused. It goes into 30 3 times, which gives me 24. Subtract that off, I have a remainder of 6. I bring down my first zero. It goes into 67 times, which is 56. Subtract that off, I have 40, or 4. Bring down that 0, that gives me the 40. And 8 goes into 45 times. Remainder of 0, so I am done. I have now converted a fraction to a decimal. Now, how do I convert a decimal to a percent? Well, it's really quite simple. I'll take this percent that I have, 375,000th, and to convert, all you have to do is move your decimal place 2 spaces to the right. 1, 2. And now I find out that this is equal to 37 5/10%. Okay? Let's take a look now at converting percents back to fractions or decimals. If I have a percent, let's give me 26 and let's say 3/500th of a percent. First of all, it's quite simple to convert it into a decimal number because all I have to do is go in the opposite direction that I did the first time. So I'll move it to the left 2 spaces, which would give me 26 or 2,635 10,000th. And that's all that would be involved in converting it to a percent. So just remember, when you're making it into a percent, move your decimal to the right. If you make it into a decimal, you move your percent to the left. Now, to convert a percent to a fraction, it's a little bit different. Let's take a look. Let's go with, what if I had, let's just say 70%. Well, anytime that I can write a fraction with a denominator of 100, the numerator is automatically the percent. So what I mean by that is I can write 70% as 70 over 100. Seems simple enough, I should be done, but of course we need to reduce. So I'll divide by 10, and I'll find out that 70% is actually equal to 7/10. Okay, and that'll cover our conversion of fractions to decimals to percents and back and forth. Now, looking at a percent formula, it's very critical that you understand this portion, that a percent over 100 gives you the percent. So I'll erase this, and let's take a look at what I mean. What if I was going to find 35% of 50, for instance? Well, I know that I can put my percent over 100. So if I say 35% of 50, I can set it up as a proportion like we learned in our proportion unit. And if I set it up as 35 over 50, or 35 over 100, I'm sorry, then I want to know that is what out of 50. And I'll just say X. Okay? I remember, how did we solve these? There was a couple of different ways, but the foolproof method was always to cross multiply. So we'll go ahead and do that with this as well. So I'll go ahead and say 100 times x, or 100x, is equal to 35 times 50. And 35 times 50 is 1,750, if I'm not mistaken. I'll double check my over here. Let's see, I've got a 0, I've got 5, carry a 2, 15, 17, 50, yes. So 100x would be equal to 1750. At this point, since I'm trying to get x by itself to find out what 35% of 50 is, what I'm going to do is the opposite of multiplying by 100, divide by 100. Again, 100 over 100 is just 1, or 1 times x, so just x. But since I did it to the left side, I have to do it to the right side. Dividing this by 100, remember when you divide by 100, all you have to do is move your decimal spot points. And I am finding that 17 and 5/10 is 35% of 50. Okay, we're running a little bit long now. We'll start a new video for the rest of this unit.